the original Reeves. Can't remember what his first name was, but his last name was Reeves as well. That was the Superman that actually committed suicide, right?
George.
Steve Reeves.
Yeah, George Reeves, and I believe he committed suicide, right?
Is it George or Steve? I thought it was Steve Reeves, but it could be George Reeves.
George was Superman. Steve Reeves was like Ulysses or Hercules or something.
Remember the Paul Shannon show?
Yes.
Now, Russ, you probably remember the Ranger Randy show.
No, they didn't have that in the Pittsburgh area. We had Paul Shannon, and then the WQED, the local public television station, had Mr. Rogers. It was a local show for a while.
Hey, I used to live in just outside of Pittsburgh. Paul Shannon and Mr. Rogers and WIIC and WTAE and all that.
Yep, Chili Billy Cardelli on Channel 11 on WIIC, 11:30 every Saturday night. Chiller Theater.
And there was that puppet there, Kanish or something, and Nosmo King.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I remember Nosmo King.
I don't have a clue as to what you guys are talking about. I do remember Howdy Doody vaguely. I was super young. But it's the Howdy Doody show. Remember that?
Buffalo Bob.
Now, come on, that's the classic. Plunk your magic twanger, Froggy.
Sounds like something you would say to a woman, Ray.
Oh, that was a classic. If you never saw Plunk Your Magic Twanger, Froggy.
So, Mike, you remember Myron Cope on sports?
Negative. Nope, I have no idea. All these shows you're talking about, I was like 4 years old.
I'll get out of here. You can't be that much younger than me.
Well, I'm 61.
Yeah, I just turned 60 about 6 months ago.
So maybe.
Geez, I'm 67 now.
TV then. That was my father's remote.
Do you remember watching all the cartoons on Channel 53 after school?
Yeah, I watched all the cartoons, Tom and Jerry and Deputy Dog, Ricochet Rabbit, and Pete Puma. I'll make mincemeat out of that, man.
Go Speed Racer, go.
Remember Itchy and Scratchy on Saturday morning?
Itchy and Scratchy, yep. And Bullwinkle and Rocky the Squirrel.
I used to watch Itchy and Scratchy with my kids when they were little, and they didn't like it. It was too violent.
The Three Stooges.
I watch them to this day, early in the morning. I think they're on AMC now. Yeah, isn't that pretty cool that, like, for the last, I don't know what, 70, 80 years, that they still hold their own? Yeah, they were great. We used to watch Alfred Hitchcock and Ray. I remember Ranger Andy. I'm trying to think of the tune that they used to sing at the beginning of the show, but I used to watch that, and I used to like To Tell the Truth. All those shows, they were crazy.
My name is Ranger Andy, and I've traveled all around.
Password.
That's it. You got it, Ray. I can't remember the rest of it.
Ranger.
I could sing the whole thing for you.
Well, that's all right. Probably shouldn't.
The Rifleman with Chuck Connors.
Oh, that's still on every Saturday.
Oh, is it really? You're kidding me.
No, it's on my cable network here. Every Saturday they play about 10, at least 10 shows of it.
Yeah, it's on here, too, on the cable, one of those retro stations. Was it true that he played for the Boston Celtics? This is KC1 EWJ.
That I don't know. I know he was tall.
Remember Combat?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vic Morrow.
Vic Morrow, what a great show that was. I loved that show as a kid.
You know what happened to him?
Helicopter.
What happened to him, Ray?
He was doing a movie and he had a young kid with him, and they had a big explosion under the Huey, and the big fireball went up, and it was the fireball was hot, so the Huey lost lift, and it stalled, and it went down like on a 45-degree angle, and the blade chopped him and the kid in half.
I hate when that happens.
Twilight Zone. That'll ruin your day.
Oh, and how? You ever see one of those blades from a Huey? Christ, that thing's a good foot wide, if not even wider.
I worked in Wallingford at I forgot what the name of the company was. They made helicopter blades for Sikorsky, I guess. I'm not sure which company they made, but it was like all top secret. I couldn't leave my certain area. I couldn't go here or there. I had to walk a certain path through the factory to get to the machine in the morning, and all top secret.
Yeah, Sikorsky, they were just right down where I used to live right across the river in Philadelphia, near the airport.
I worked at Sikorsky. I worked at Pratt. I worked at all of them places, all top secret, every time you went there. You had to have clearance, show your ID, everything, you know.
I remember one time I got trapped in General Electric Aerospace. They had to have a top secret clearance there, and I got trapped in you had to go in this little door and you put handprint. That's when the handprints were, believe it or not, in the early 80s, handprints were still used, you know, so I put my handprint on there, and I was working third shift, and the interlock, something went wrong with the machine, and the alarms went off, and all the doors came down, and I was locked up in there for over an hour till they figured it out.
Yeah, this was before cell phones even, when I worked at them places. They had like remote phones where the super had like a receiver in his trailer that he could go through back to the home office a lot of times. And after a while, they had computers came in big back then, and all of that high technology.
You remember the bag phones in the 70s, right? Late 70s?
In the early 70s, I remember the first mobile phones that they had, those big Motorola mobile phones. They were big white things, looked like a half-gallon milk carton.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. But I actually had a ICOM little handheld back in the early 80s when nobody had cell phones. I was touch-toning into the repeater and calling my wife every night on the way home from work, and it was free.
Yeah, remember the auto patch? That was like a big deal. Now nobody even has them.
Really? Nobody has them now?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they do, but I used to get on my 2 meters and make a phone call from the car or whatever, and everybody was, ooh, gee whiz. Now everybody's got cell phones, so it's like, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, you could only call out, but I would be shocked if some of the repeaters still didn't have some of that. But that would be probably an additional cost. I mean, some of the older guys, it'd be nice to have that because they wouldn't really even need a cell phone. They could always call out in an emergency, right?
Yeah, but the trouble was there was too many people were bringing it up and dialing 911 and doing all kind of weird stuff. So there was a bunch of jerks kind of spoiled it for everybody.
They were calling 911 on a repeater?
Yeah, they'd use the auto patch, dial 911, and the phone was actually up on a mountain somewhere, so they'd have to go because it's a 911 hang-up, so they finally had to turn it off.
Oh, how stupid is that?
WB2 TFG.
Somebody in the background there, go ahead.
Yeah, this is WB2 TFG. Whiskey Baker 2 Tango Foxtrot Golf. The handle here is Bob, and we're in Pall Mall, Vermont right now. I wonder how you're hearing me. I'm just trying this new setup. I have a long wire up here. I'm in a shed right now. I just wondered how am I making it? How's my signal? WB2 TFG.
I got WB2TF. I couldn't remember. I couldn't get that last one, but you're just above the noise, Bob. Just above the noise. This is Whiskey 2 Mike Uniform Radio, W2MUR, located in Holland-Pat, New York, just north of Utica, New York. So I heard you say you were trying out a new long wire situation, and not working too well for you right now, at least in this area. Maybe Carl can give a report. Bob, before, what kind of power are you running, and tell us a little bit about your antenna. Again, keep it short because it's just above the noise. W2MUR.
Yeah, I've got maybe it's about a 150, 200 foot long piece of wire up in the tree. I'm running 100 watts here out of an IC7000 into a tuner. It's going to the long wire output on the tuner, and that's what I'm running. You guys are about 20 over here, 20 over, so you probably are running a lot more power and probably have a better antenna than I do. Back to you.
I'll give him a report.
Okay, go ahead.
WB2TFG, Whiskey 3 Hotel November. You're 20 over 9 in Saratoga Springs, New York. My name is Tim Tango, Indy Mary, Big Signal. Go ahead.
Oh, fine business, Tim. Oh, I'm 20 over up there. Okay, I guess it's just, I'm here in Pownell, Vermont, right near Bennington. And my friend let me put this wire up. He's in too, and he has his G5RV up there too. He has a nice piece of land with a lot of trees, and I'm using. We just use the Easy Hang and put up the one end in the long wire. We're running it right here into this little shed here, where he has his lawnmowers and things, and the workbench, and I'm on the workbench here with the long wire, running it through an MSJ Versa tuner, and that's what we're doing, running 100 watts. I guess I'll turn it back to you, Tim. I don't know. This is WB2 TFG. I didn't get your call.
Whiskey 3 Hotel November. Yeah, we're running about 500 whiskey plus to a full wave loop at about 50 feet. How high is that wire over?
I'd say it's I guess about maybe 70, 80 feet, and it's kind of more of like a vertical type of deal, more vertical than it is horizontal. When it's on a 45-degree angle down, like a sloper coming down, and it goes directly to the transmatch. That's what we're running with here, and we're running 100 watts. The rig here is an IC7000, and that's what we're running here. I'll turn it back to you. W3HHN, back to you.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Carl. Give him a report. WT2E, W3HHN.
Hey, Bob, this is Carl, Whiskey Golf 2 Echo. I'm near Schenectady, New York, and you're at a peak. You were maybe 10 over, but you're kind of fading in and out, sometimes down below 9, sort of in the noise level, but almost 100% coffee. Over.
Yeah, wait until it gets dark. You'll do a lot better there, Bob.
Yeah, I just witnessed a beautiful sunset. It's absolutely wonderful.
Kilo Bravo 2, Zulu, Victor Papa. Not you again. Says I. I'm home.
Hey, hello, Randy. JT, Tootie.
Hey, Tootie. Hey, Randy. How you doing? Miguel.
Hey, I got my new tuner on tonight, Randy. ATR 15, over.
Oh, they're junk.
Yeah, but look at my signal. I've gained 20 dB.
What's that? I can't hardly hear you. You're doing good. You're doing good for an old prof.
For an old fogey, right?
Yeah, you're doing good. Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Randy.
Good evening. So how was the Irish Music Festival?
It was really super duper. It was. We had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Hello, radio.
Who's in the background there? It was Bob. He's in Pownell, Vermont. Whiskey Bravo 2, Tango Fox Golf. I don't know if you'd heard him in there or not, Randy.
Yeah, give him a call, Randy, see how he hears you. He's a new guy.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, fine business. I guess you're Randy. I'm over here in Pownell, Vermont, running a long wire trees. I guess I'm not sure exactly. Maybe it's 150 feet, long. And I'm running 100 watts out of an IC7000 with an MFJ Versa tuner, running right out of the back of it with the long wire. And that's what we're using. And we're using a ground. We're grounding it to some BX cable going for the electric. It's not the greatest, but we've been getting out pretty well on the other bands with it. So this is WB2TFG, and again, the handle is Bob. Bravo, Oscar, Bravo.
Okay, Bob. WB2TFC, I guess, or TFG, I guess, with the ICOM 7000. Is your compression turned on, Bob?
No, it's not. I don't have the compressor turned on. Maybe if I get away from the mic a little?
No, you need more. You got to turn the compression on here. I'll just shut mine off. This is my compression turned off, and I'm running about a million watts. Okay, so can you imagine if it was here? There's 100 watts. 100 watts and no compression. How copy?
You're almost 20 over here in perfect copy.
Well, you're not. So put the compression turned on. Turn on the compression, and the rest of us can hear you much better.
Okay. Let me figure it out.
Hey, Randy. It's Roy, KC3BYC.
Here's Roy with a big signal.
You guys are the only ones crazy enough to be on with all this lightning. I got my PL259s wore out down here, taking them off and on. It's about 2 hours, and then we get a lightning storm. Then it doesn't. Then another 2 hours, we get a lightning storm. It's crazy.
So it's a mandatory formation there. Randy will text us if we don't show up. For the first warning, second warning, he calls us, and then you don't want him coming over to your house, especially if he's 5 hours away.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about, Russ. I just tuned in. You gotta catch me up. You practically drove by my house twice.
How much trouble did you get in for that?
Well, apparently maybe a little bit now, but we had a great time, a great drive. I was on 40 meters back and forth, and I think Maureen was texting people, letting people know that we were on the air. So we were trying to keep engaged best we could.
No, I got all your texts, Randy, but I was indisposed. I had the Bo Peep running me all over hell in creation here doing stuff.
Yeah, okay, that was pretty much Maureen. I think she gets tired of listening to me talk, call CQ, so she starts texting people. Basically, it's come save my husband from himself, Yeah, I got the text as well. I was with the granddaughter today in a park in Utica, and I met Tim. So I met Tim at Indian Castle, yeah, and in near St. Johnstown, and so he met me there, and he was in the right direction. I had to go all the way down to Canajoharie to finally get a turnaround. I screwed up because the Indian Castle had an employee exit I could have taken. I forgot all about it.
Why didn't we just meet at Canajoharie and skip all that Indian Castle?
We should have.
could have just taken a U-turn.
Well, I could have done many U-turns, but the traffic was kind of heavy, and I just didn't want to do it.
You're a good citizen, Mike.
So, Mike, you met Tim. Okay, so without saying anything, Mike, was it as bad as I thought? I told you it would be?
Oh, it was terrible.
He's a bad dude.
Yeah, he's a bad dude. He tried to, at first he tried to take the radio, and he had me up against the truck, and he said, "Give me a radio and all of your wire that you have in the back seat." And then I just said, "Okay, I don't want any trouble."
And ugly too, Randy.
Oh, terribly ugly. I told him to watch it, Tim. I gave him my best, warning.
Yeah, I love his tuner so far. I've only tuned it on 2 bands, 160 and 40, but I'm sure it'll tune the others.
It will, and it's an N1 DVL modified tuner, so that is a good one.
Roger, Dodger. Yeah, I'm using it on the 1-to-1 barrel and not the 4-to-1.
So Dave, that's another gold Toad Harbor gold standard.
Yeah, I just got back down here with a hot cup of coffee, talking about Tim's tuner. Yeah, no, you got a genuine. That's going to be an artifact. It should wind up alongside mine in the Smithsonian N1SAG.
Yeah, I went the rounds of everybody. Let's see if Bob at WB2 TFG W3HHN. You got that compression on, Bob?
Yeah, I just turned it on. How does it sound? Any better?
A lot better. Yeah, we're close to Bennington. I drive over there at least once a month. I pick up papers from my little paper route, and that's my radio money. I was telling Mike I have a private account that the wife doesn't know about. So when I got this tuner home, I walked in the door backwards, and the wife said, "What's that? You buying more gear?" I said, "No, I'm just taking it out to sell it."
Oh, my God. Would you pull money out of your Swiss account?
She has never fallen for that one time.
As a matter of fact, my account was closed, so I used my Visa and I pulled it out of the the grocery account over.
You're in big trouble, man.
She doesn't know about it yet. She hasn't looked at her account.
Well, make sure you do the shopping by yourself next time.
Roger, let her do it by herself.
You have to go to the soup kitchen. It's Ray. Apparently Ray is in here somewhere.
I'm here.
So you know what I did today?
You put up your loop.
No. So let me explain something to you guys, okay? I called Ray this morning when I was leaving East Durham, and I said, "Hey, why aren't you on the radio?" And he said to me, he said, "I'm not going to get on the radio right now." And I said, "Well, what do you mean you're not going to get on the radio?" "I'm outside enjoying the nice weather." He said, "I'm really enjoying the nice weather, and I want to stay outside." Do you guys know what that translates to?
That's a lazy ham operator.
No, my God, you guys are so slow. He's outside studying the woods. He's thinking of a way. What's the next antenna he's going to build? Because the last one was a failure. He's still 5 dB below me. So he's now contemplating what does he have to do out in the woods? What trees does he have to take down? What does he have to do to finally dethrone the king?
All I need is a 5 dB bigger amplifier.
Oh my God! You touched 60 over.
Well, I worked on my antenna today, and I just touched a couple of things. But boy, I started drilling holes in the ground out there, Ray. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. When I dug the third hole with my post hole digger, I think I hit salt.
Struck oil.
You hit salt?
I think I hit salt.
I mean, there used to be an ocean there?
I think so. So I've got it all planned out, Mike. I ordered the steel pipe for the corner supports. I've got the steel, or I've got the silver-coated or silver-plated copper wire coming. It's going to be magnificent.
Doesn't our road salt come from somewhere out near there, Randy?
It sure does.
Hey, Randy, where'd you find a place to get that silver-coated wire?
I just as soon not tell you on the air.
All right, text it to me when it's no longer a state secret. I think maybe if Trump talks to you, will you declassify it?
Never. Not in front of Ray. It's going to be magnificent, though. I've got it all figured out. On the and by the way, I was all over 40 meters this afternoon. When I got home, I was playing a little bit. After I worked on the antenna, I always tested on 40. So I was on 40. And there was a bunch of guys came in, and even driving home, some guys came in that I hadn't met before, and they were talking about, I listen to the Toad Harbor Net all the time, which was awesome, right? It was pretty cool. And he goes, and I told them, I happened to mention I'm on my way home, and I live in a place called Toad Harbor. Toad Harbor, is that where the Toad Harbor Net comes from, you know? And I said, yeah. He says, well, he goes, I listen there all the time. And by the way, Ray, I talked to Pete a little while ago, the guy with the amplifier, like you have.
The amplifier like I have. Which one? The Commander?
No.
Oh, the Sigma.
Yeah, and he was the one that came in that night and said, I got an amplifier you guys like you guys have never heard of before. So anyway, I was talking to him on 40, and he's running a new 7610. And I want to tell you something. There's not a better sounding radio on the air. He's got a Newman. How do you say Newman? I can't think of the name of the mic. I'm sure you guys have figured it out by now. But Norman, I think Nick runs one. Anyway, and he's going into the back of the rig with some kind of a box. But I know, I'll tell you one thing right now. He sounded sensational with that thing.
That's a Newman.
No.
But you know, if you have to go into the box and add extra equipment and everything, it's just not worth the aggravation.
Neumann. He's got a Neumann microphone, and he sounded great. And I asked him, I went through all the questions about, did you have any trouble with this, any trouble with that? And he goes, nope, not a single bit of trouble. And that goes to show you, like I said, if you've got a 7610 and you haven't had any trouble with it, you got a sensational radio there. So he sounded great. And we were talking for quite a long time this afternoon.
Yeah, but how long's he had it?
About a year.
He probably doesn't even know the screen's bad. You know, that's the trouble. You brought that up, and that's pretty much true. Most people don't even know the screen's going bad.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah.
Did you know the average price for a Newman?
I know they're expensive microphones, but guys like you and me, pal, I mean, what's a couple of bucks?
Oh no, it's not it's the other schmucks on the net that I feel sad for, that they couldn't just plop down $6,995 for the U67 Neumann Collector's Edition.
Who can't afford that? I'm gonna get one.
Why, that's chump change.
I'd buy a lot of silver-plated wire.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah, Russ.
Tell me all this work on this antenna is not so you can go on 40 meters and show off to your new friends on 7,200 kilohertz.
Nope. I'm no match for those guys.
Just stay away from that 7150.
Yeah, right. No kidding. And then another guy Actually, it was Pete. He was talking about, and I was talking to this guy who may come in here, Mark, WR1 Oscar, and he's looking at buying a new rig, and he was asking what our opinion was, or what my opinion and Mark's opinion, or Pete's opinion was, and I told him. Anyway, and I said to him he should stop here at the world famous Toad Harbor Net. Not only will we tell you what kind of radio to buy or amplifier, we'll tell you what kind of car to buy, what kind of shoes to wear, and how to comb your hair. And Pete says, how did he say it? He said, "Oh, Randy's telling the truth. All ham radio knowledge resides on the world famous Toad Harbor Net."
W2 Carol at the top.
N1 DVL. That's pretty much true.
WG2E. KB2 ZBP.
W3 HHN.
For the 27 Yankees and the 54 Bo Sox of ham radio. WB2 TFG.
BFG.
Yeah, it's hard to get a word in here edgewise, Bob. You just have to jump in and start jabbering.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I've never used the compressor on this radio before. Yeah, I can see it's really bouncing the signal around. Is my signal still holding up well? WB2 TFG?
WB2 TFG, W3 HHN. Yeah, you're still 20 over 9 with me. We're close to Bennington. Let me think, work my brain here. I can get to the storage locker from my house in Bennington in 45 minutes, over.
Oh, okay. I'm not really that familiar. My home QTH is in Bloomfield. I'm only up here on the weekend with a friend here. He's a ham also, and he let me put the setup in his little barn out here, or his little shed here, and I have it all set up. And this is the first time, I haven't been able to operate 160 where I am. I'm from Bloomfield, New Jersey. And I'm going back tomorrow, but he let me come up with my stuff, and we tried. He has a lot bigger piece of property than I do, and we were trying this antenna out, and we were trying to have it on Gordy and Lee and all the other bands, but didn't like 10, but came down here. I wanted to see how it worked down here. I'm delighted that I can get out on 160 down here. So I'll turn it back. I don't know who gets it. I guess I'll turn it back to you. I guess you, Carl, KG2E.
Let me just say one quick thing. Randy, there was a recall on flour up in the New York area where you are. 5-pound bags of flour. That might be some of that stuff you were talking about. So look it up on the internet. I just wanted to remember to tell you before I forgot to tell you. N1 DVL.
I'll check it out. They usually sell in 2-pound bags, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, there's a guy that gets on here with a helical vertical. Randy, how tall is Bob's vertical there?
Why don't you ask Bob?
Bob, are you on frequency?
I am indeed. Hello, Tim.
Yeah, 30 over 9. How tall is your vertical?
The helical wound one or the Ray 3/8?
Yeah, okay. First of all, what'd you do to your 3/8 today to make it better?
Thought about it.
Just thought about it, didn't do anything?
No, I was going to shoot a line, but it was blowing crazy here today. I just didn't want to chance it, but I got a plan to raise it up, so maybe tomorrow when the wind's a little better. So, but my helically wound vertical is probably about 27 feet ground to the top.
That's it? There's no wires, no top loading, nothing, just 27 feet straight up?
No, it's 27 feet, and it's number 12 solid, 255 feet of it coiled on there, and there's a capacitance hat on the top.
How big is that hat? That's what I want to know.
It's about 3 feet across.
A solid hat, like a garbage can lid?
Now it's 2 copper rods crisscrossed, and then I got wire running on the outside, the perimeter in between the ends of it, and then halfway to the middle.
Did you say garbage can lid?
He did.
What the hell, Tim?
What? You don't keep a lid on your garbage can?
Yeah, I do. That's where they belong, not on top of my antenna.
No, I use them for bird bath and on top of my antennas, and you use those little brass balls in your toilet, you know, put them right at the end. It really increases your signal by 10 or 15 dB.
Yeah, I'd have to take it off my Tesla coil first. Hey, Randy, I'm going to do a test with you on my 2 antennas, okay?
I'm ready.
Okay, so this is the wire, the longer wire there, the 3/8. It starts out vertical and then does a lot of crazy stuff after that, okay?
Got it.
Okay, and wait a minute, something's not right here. Hold on. The helical wound vertical is right here, so let's see. How's that?
Boy, they're close. The helically wound vertical was about 10 dB weaker, and then all of a sudden it got stronger when you were saying something wasn't quite right. So it got stronger, almost as strong as the other one, but not as strong.
Okay, let me try. This is strange here. Hold on a second. Okay, yeah, this is where I think it should be. Okay.
Okay, that's 22 over. Go to the other one.
Okay, and here's the other one right now. Let me just make sure I got it. Hold on. Let me make sure I got it. Okay, I think this is about right here. The SWR is a little strange, but anyway, there we go.
Yeah, 28 to 30 over on that one, but you did fade down to 20, so it's a little QSB. Let's see, it's still a little bit light out there, so let's check it again at, let's say, 10 o'clock or so.
Okay.
Dead even here, Bob.
Yeah, you're pretty close, Carl, so I'm guessing you and Tim might get me close, but anyway, there we are. It'd be interesting to see if Mark or, who was it, Tom out in Erie. That'd be interesting to see how they do out there.
The point is, let's see if I got it, that helical vertical really works well. And that's what I wanted you to show Bob there in Bennington. It's only 27 feet tall. Of course, you do have some radios under, but it really, really works quite well over it.
Yeah, it's a real sleeper, you know, for somebody who doesn't have a lot of room or a lot of place to put up a long, tall antenna. It's pretty amazing how well it does.
Of course, it doesn't work as well as Randy's mobile antenna, but it works quite well.
No, it does. I mean, you got to keep a fair comparison there.
Yeah, he's got $12 invested in his antenna. I got $1,200.
Roger. Yeah, it doesn't work as good as your mobile. And I guess Mike has the same antenna, right?
Yeah, I think he's got. Mike, do you have 2 of them yet? Did he get the other one yet?
Negative. No. Charlie has not responded to my emails.
What are you going to do with 2 of them?
I'm gonna put them like a inverted V in the back of my truck.
Yeah, that sounds good. What are you going to do with 2 of them?
For 2 of them, the one that I have now, I'm going to use as a base antenna because it's got a little bit of a damage on the for mice and salt, but the antenna works fine. And then the other 2, I wanted to buy 2 of them, so I'll put one on the truck, and then the other one will be a forever backup.
Roger, Dodger. Be sure and put some ground radios under the base.
I've got a lot of work to do to mine. When you guys saw it the other day, it was just, I just stuck it on there. And I mean, it just is, it's horrible, but it's working well, I'll tell you. I'm really thrilled with how well it's working on 40, Mike. I haven't had to change cap hats or anything. This, it's a little bit, the coil's a little shorter for whatever reason. But it's the thing is dynamite on 40, and I love that band.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. You said you were working 40 on your bass, and I'm thinking, did I hear him right? Did he say he was doing? Yeah, because you were on 40, and Maureen was sending out text messages, right? So, and I was thinking you must have pulled over and changed the cap hat, but you didn't.
Nope, the other cap hat is in the chicken coop, and this antenna works better on 40 than the other one, and it's supposed to be the same antenna, but you know, he builds everything so different. I mean, he doesn't have quality control like. You know, build 100 antennas exactly the same. I think he just uses whatever parts he's got left over from the military run.
That's crazy. I'm going to have to contact him this week.
Well, I've got to send my antenna back out to him. I want to get the other antenna fixed and back, so I'll still have two of them.
Yeah, I think now that I gave up my legendary ATR-15, I'm going to have to get the HF Auto and use the ATR-30 as my backup.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to get out of here and try this tuner on 75 and probably go and modulate the bed springs as I said in the old days. Nice talking to everybody, and Mike, nice meeting you out there, Kenneth Jahari, W3HHNQRT.
Tim, did Mike tell you about that tuner, what you got to be careful of?
Yeah, I think it'd be good to take in my canoe for an anchor.
73s, gentlemen.
Okay,
73s, Tim. You're doing about 35 over here, so whatever you change,
today. I got on the thruway in Kanjahari and came west. I wish you guys would have told me the time that you were going to be there. We probably passed you.
1:30 we were there.
1:30?
1:30 p.m.
Oh, for crying out loud. I had to be there at that time. Yeah, you know what? Jeff was just finishing the net at 1:30 on E-Cars, and I was on whatever E-Cars is on, 7255. I was on there. I was on the thruway. I was just getting on at Kanjahari at 1:30.
We were right there. The only thing, I was a little late because on 67 on Middle Line Road, a dang tractor trailer ran into two cars and smashed them all up. I didn't see any ambulances there, but there were a lot of police cars, so maybe it was like 1:45. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, it was probably 1:45, but you know, the thing is that if I did a U-turn right after I pulled out of there, I probably would have been neck and neck with Randy.
I have the foot switch in the back of the truck, too.
I'm coming over tomorrow.
I'll be home. Well, I'll be call because Maureen has this big plan of going to the place where you buy the plants, whatever that's called, the plant place, and we're going to get a lot of plants, and she's going to do some planting, and then in the afternoon we're going to do some motorcycle riding.
Planetarium.
The planetarium, yeah. We're going to go to the planetarium.
Hey,
I don't know what's going on, man. You literally peaked out at 60 over, and then you go back to 40. It's a 20 dB
and I'm going to use those
variation in your signal.
Well, it's 9 o'clock, Mike, so it's going to be like this at 9 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, it'll just stay at 60.
Well, no, I was just gave you the same report about a half hour ago.
Yeah, but at this time, this is Gray Line. So at Gray Line, the band is really at flux, right? It just changes. There's a lot of QSB, but at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or midnight, it'll be way more stabilized. You're doing the same thing here. You're up and down 50 to 60 over and then down to 40.
Well, I'm riding a Greyhound right now, and rather than the Gray Line, but you know, the specialized antenna that I have is a Greyhound.
all day long, all afternoon long. I was out there drilling holes, pulling on the cable. I got the wire. I pulled it one way, got it up a little bit, out a little bit from the tree, and I pulled the other rope really, really tight, and I picked up the picnic table by the rope, and back and forth, and I finally got the wires up around the limbs of the tree, and I was building the new, in my mind, I'm building the new N1DVL Killer. And I told Maureen, and she says, oh, you can't call it that. Call it the N1DVL Terminator. She hates the word killer.
Oh, my gosh. You could play guitar on your loop now.
Oh, seriously. When I was taking down one of the wires that I had, pulling it away from the tree, you could actually strum a note on it. It was so tight, but I got it. I had to pull it away, and I was doing it by myself, so I got to pull it real hard and loosen one up, 6 inches, and go over, and pull that one 6 inches, and come back over and loosen that one 6 inches, and tighten that one 6 inches back and forth. It took me several hours, but it's up there a little bit higher, and I got the holes drilled for the new tilt-up pipes, and we're golden.
Okay, Carl. So I've got Randy about 10 over in my beverage. It's not terminated tonight, and you already know what I've got him on with my dipole. What are you picking him? What's your report to Randy on your beverage?
Well, let's hear something, Randy, and I'll give you a look.
Okay, Mary had a little lamb, and its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb. I actually just forgot how that went. Can you imagine that? KB2 ZVP.
10 over on the beverage and 35 on the loop.
It's exactly what I have, but you're actually a little stronger in the beverage for some reason, Carl.
I don't know.
Carl, give me a countdown here. I want to just check you again here on the beverage.
Okay, Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. WG2E.
Okay, so you're 35 over and 10 over, so it's roughly, about the same as Randy and 10 over. You were up a little bit more, just like you said, there's variation in the bands, but the thing is that the beverage is very quiet, but I'm not pulling in any weak signals on that thing.
Well, I haven't found anything that I can't hear on the loop, but I find that the signal to noise is much better. So I just listen on it all the time. Unless I get like a really weak signal in there, depending on where they're coming from, most of the time they're better on the loop. If I really have to listen hard.
So if you're looking for a real weak signal to test the beverages with, hang on a second. Hey, Ray, can you jump in there?
Well, the thing that I like about the Bog is that when it's crashing horribly, like it has been in the last few nights, 20 over crashes. There's hardly any crashes whatsoever. That's a gigantic benefit, and I can hear. It's almost like listening to everybody with no crashes. And a 27 dB attenuator on, so if I put my 27 dB attenuation on, like I do most of the time on my dipole, that's the way the beverage sounds with no crashes.
Right. I would have to agree with you. I could probably perform the same, get the same results just attenuating my loop. But, what do you expect for something on the ground? And it's an interesting experiment.
And 3 or more.
Hey, Mark.
Evening.
Hey, Mark.
Well, the lightning's starting to dwindle a little bit. It's getting better.
Yeah. Then I think the next thing I want to do is I'm actually going to experiment with a full loop on the ground, and maybe feed it with either coax or in a 1-to-1, or just feed it with open line in my backup tuner. Oh, wait a minute, I don't have a backup tuner anymore.
Well, hang on. Tim said it didn't work for him. The loop on the ground didn't work for him. He used it for radios or something. But, are you guys saying that with attenuation on your main antenna, the beverage is no better than? Than the main antenna, just the static is weaker? What's the point?
No. No, the big point is that if you compare my dipole at 27 dB of attenuation, I've got a beautiful copy in everybody, but when there's static discharges in the air, it's horrible. But when I switch to my Bog, it almost eliminates the static discharges. And so it's just like running 27 dB, but with no static discharges, and that's a big, big advantage.
Okay, got it. Hey, I found I could hear, who's that guy that was out in Wisconsin there, that comes in? No, I don't think it was Matt. That was somewhere else. But it seems that several times I've been able to hear the guys to the west a little bit better signal to noise on the Beverage than the Loop. Yeah, that's Jamie, the guy out there with the chicken coop. Yeah, that's the guy.
I talked to a guy, Jim, out there the other night. His call was QKS.
You actually made it to somebody in Wisconsin?
Oh, no, wrong call. His call is W39 LBT, Wisconsin. But I never got his name. Yeah, what do you mean I actually got to Wisconsin? What do you think?
So tell us, just tell the truth, and we're not going to think bad of you. Did you look in the phone book and then call him?
Randy, what do you think? I'm here fooling around?
Jamie's call is N9 TBE, Tango Bravo Echo.
No, this guy was W39 LBT, like LBT.
W39? What band was this on?
This band, 160, right here at the Toad Harbor Net.
He must be new. He's a 2-number call.
That was Friday night. I was on the radio late Friday night, and I was signing off with Russ, I think. Or, yeah, Russ. Were we on Friday night? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were.
Russ, did you hear the W39er?
Hold on, let me look at my log here.
Oh, my God, you guys.
I think he said WB. He said W Bravo.
W39.
W3, area code 315, W396517.
Oh, this guy's call was W39 Lima Bravo Tango.
It was a 3.
I see, he keeps saying it. Okay, now, Dave, it can't be that. Okay, it can't be W39. It must be WB9, Bravo.
Yes, you're right. It is a Bravo. It looks like a 3. I didn't quite bring up the backbone of the B so that it looks like a 3. I'm gonna make that correction now. I'm doing it right now. Yes, now it looks like a B. It was WB9 Lima Bravo Tango.
Yeah, that's Bob. That's Bob in Greendale.
Okay, I'm going to put down his first name is Bob. All right, I didn't get his name, but I got his call. Yeah, why? What do you think? This radio doesn't hear?
Huh?
You didn't think I could hear Wisconsin?
I'm sure you can hear him, but I'm not so sure he could hear you.
He heard me all right. We were talking. I mean, he was probably in there listening right now. Bob, come back. Tell Randy he's not the only radio on this side of the Great Divide.
Aren't you running coax?
No, I'm not even telling you what I'm running anymore.
Hey, Mike, he's running coax. Talk slow.
With stainless steel wire.
Those velocity factors slow way down.
Hey, my beverages are still stainless steel.
I'm drinking coffee tonight.
Yeah, the beverage antennas could work well on with stainless.
I've got to really work at that. It's something I've got to tomorrow. I'm sure Timmy's not listening now. Tomorrow I'm planning on building Timmy's feed line. I want to get that built for him, and then after that I want to really concentrate on the beverage antennas.
My antenna is so low it's like a ground wave antenna. It's the best of both worlds.
Man, I'm looking at 11 meters is open. Still 11. What am I saying? You guys are talking. You know, I'm hearing
Breaker 19.
No, 17 meters is open, and I see some signals still on 10 meters. Believe it or not, but they're going quick.
Well, 6 was open all day to like Florida and Louisiana and such.
20/9 signals. It was cool.
Yeah, I got into 6 a little late. I actually didn't start listening in on 10 till like about 6 o'clock in the evening.
So, I got an email today. Apparently, somebody when I was on the road on 40 meters, I had this guy right here. I got an email. Somebody posted me on 40 meters. Hi Randy, I saw you on the DX cluster. I am a disabled operator and only QRP. I am a QSL card collector and would very much like to have yours in my collection. I will of course send mine. He's an what the heck is this called? MM3 AWA. What does everybody think about that?
I think that's England.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But who sends QSL cards if you've never talked to the guy?
Yeah, just send him half of one.
Well, just send them the card. You don't have to put a contact on it. Yeah, but come on. Why? Come on. I mean, we're hams for Christ's sakes. Why am I going to do that?
He's disabled, Randy. Just send him the damn card.
I'm not sending. Listen, I'll send somebody a card if we make contact. I'm just not going to send postcards to a pen pal.
Don't be that way.
Come on, you have to uphold extremely high standards for the Toad Harbor Net. You are the face of the Toad Harbor Net. You're the guy that's on the stamp and the currency for the Toad Harbor Net.
Thank you, Russ. At least somebody's got enough intelligence to understand that.
So send him the card.
Well, you send them the card, then that's marketing for the Toad Harbor Network.
What if the guy got to a station where he could talk to you? Then he'd say, "Where's my card, Randy?"
I'll say, "We've made contact. I'll send you a card." Send them the one there that's got the red and green toads on it. What is the QSL card? What does that stand for? Does somebody like to look that up in the dictionary and tell me what QSL freaking stands for?
Hey, Randy.
QSL.
Randy.
Yeah, Randall.
Have a Snickers.
QSL.
Thanks for Roger. Well copied.
Have a Snickers.
You and your Snickers.
Roger that, QSL.
I mean, listen, if you're
take
a ham, be a ham. Do it the way the hams do it. You want a card? Work a station and get the card. Come on. I saw your call on the internet, so I think that I should get a card from you.
Breaker.
Well, don't do it. Just don't worry about it.
Contact.
I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to worry about it, but I thought I would bring it up to see what you guys thought of. And obviously, Russ is the only one here that really gets it.
Randy, I think these are only going to increase, these requests. So you need to get a QSL bureau. And I know there's a guy near the Harrisburg Airport in Pennsylvania. Let me look his call up.
Yeah, you need a manager. If it's that Mark guy, forget about it.
Toad Harbor Union.
What the?
So I want to find out what happens with Doc's wife. Has Doc been in here tonight?
Yes, he has. He did not sound. He sounded very, very emotional. His wife is on a breathing tube right now, so he had to go. He sounded very, very upset.
Yeah, he sent me a text this morning at 6 o'clock, and we were going back and forth this morning. I wasn't sure how. He said that she was doing a bit better this morning early, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be in here tonight or not.
No, he was in about 6:30, and I just have an announcement. He said, "My wife's on a breathing tube. Just be thinking about us." And you could hear, his voice just kind of cracking a little bit. He was very, understandably upset.
Yeah, I just shot him a text. Hopefully she'll be okay. My God, when I got that this morning, it was pretty. I was pretty shocked.
Is she in the hospital, Randy?
Yeah, ICU. Yep.
That's not good.
She's on oxygen 100% of the time. COPG, I think COPG, right?
COPD.
COPD. Thank you.
I got that.
Yeah, my mother was like that as well until she passed away in 2016, January.
You have COPD, Dave?
Yeah. That's why I had trouble getting up. What's that volcano in Italy? Vesuvius. I had a hell of a time.
Now, did you get your paperwork filled out so when you kick that we get the equipment?
Yeah, it's all laid out. Ray gets the 3CX 800A7. You get back your Toad Harbor amp with the new headlights and the step start relay, and it works like a champ. And I don't know. I pulled out them busted screws, put new screws, all good screws in it. Everything's better than it should be.
Randy, I got.
Boy, that's some racket you're running there, Randy.
Well, yeah, but it gets recycled, right, Randy?
Listen, if I was truly only interested in amplifiers, I'd be on 1850 on the Waiting to Die Net trying to get those guys signed up for the program.
Yeah, but you recirculate.
That's right. Exactly right. I don't keep the equipment here. I try to find other young and deserving hams that could use the hand with a couple of good pieces of equipment.
I'm young, I'm deserving.
Randy, I'm going to leave you my Helicrafters.
Oh, man, that's not going anywhere. When I get that stuff, Mike, it's staying right here.
My Drake 2B.
Russ, I got some nice fluorescent lights I'm going to leave you.
So, Russ, did you get my text? So I apologize. I know I was getting text messages from a lot of my dear friends here over the weekend, but I had very limited cell coverage, and I would send a text, and it would take me 5 times to get a text to go out because it kept saying it wouldn't go out, wasn't delivered, and so I know I was way behind on text messages. But Russ, I tried to get to you, and I looked back through the emails from Rob Sherwood, and he never gave me the guy's call sign. It was just a friend of his, he said. But being that it's a 0, there's a good chance that it may have been his friend.
Yeah, well, that guy, I suspect that's the guy, because you told me the guy was trying to sell an NRD 535 along with the SE3, and this guy last year was trying to sell them but wasn't splitting them up, and so nobody wanted to go for it. And so he withdrew the ad from, I think, QRZ's swap meet, and so that's where I got that call. I'm thinking that's the guy.
Very possibly. Very, very possibly. I could send an email to Rob and ask if you'd like.
Well, I mean, if, I don't know if he remembers or not, and because he's a busy guy, I know. But I would imagine if they're friends and the guy's looking to get rid of it sometime in the future, I would buy, like if he was insistent on not splitting those up, I would buy both of them just to get the SE3, and then I'd find a home for that 535 pretty fast.
Why don't I give you Rob's email address and just introduce yourself to him and make sure. I mean, if you want, make sure that that's the guy, or just tell Rob what you're looking for. Maybe he can help you. But he, he's an easy guy to talk to. I'll send you a text with the email that we use that goes right to his cell phone. And Doc just sent me a text. She is still on a bunch of pipes hooked. She still has a bunch of pipes hooked to her and is fully sedated. But they tell me she's doing good. So that's good. What happened? The band break?
Oh, the band's good. Russ, and woodpeckers were pecking all day long. They pecked on my gutters, and I heard them pecking on the neighbor's gutters up the hill from me all day. I had a perfect shot at the one on the old pool shed there. I snuck around the corner. Yeah, I'm just wondering. I never used 22 bird shot before. That wouldn't do too much damage at close range out of a 22 handgun, would it?
Leave them alone.
The thing woke me up this morning at 4:30, 5 o'clock. It was right at the crack of dawn, banging on that thing. Well, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not the first time. He does it pretty regular. I'm pretty sure I've had enough.
Clean the gutters. He's just after the bugs.
No, they're not after the bugs. The little swallows go in the gutters for the bugs. These ones here, Russ told me what they are. They're little peckerhead woodpeckers, redhead, I don't know what the hell. But anyway, they peck on those aluminum rain gutters to signal their friends.
Yeah, it's Morse code. It's the red-headed woodpecker. I've got a robin that is tapping on my glass, so I bought a little. I have an old G.I. Joe doll that my son Jason used to have when he was a kid, and I put it on top of the horsey that I bought for my granddaughter.
This guy is not
to scare him away.
This isn't going good. You in a clown suit wearing it with a G.I. Joe on top of a little horsey, Mike. I'm sorry, you're off the net.
No, he's in the G.I. Joe outfit. I put him on top of the horsey, and the robin never came back.
Hey, Mike.
It's Russ.
Well, you know, in some cultures, in the lore, whenever a bird either enters your house or taps on your window pane, that's an ill omen. Is there anything that you want to confess to us, or do you need the number of a good attorney so you can get your affairs in order?
They call him Bad Mike. In order, Mike.
You know, I had a cardinal doing the same thing last year, like Dave. I mean, he was waking me up right at dawn, and just sees its reflection in the window. You know what I tried to do? I put a picture. Somebody told me to put a picture of an eagle. I had a big picture of an eagle in the window, and then that stopped him for about 3 days.
You just got to let him know there's a window there. Hang something that shines in the window.
Yeah, like the business end of a 4-power scope with a gun attached to it.
Yeah, like some shiny brass bird shot.
You know, a CD, you know, this, Russ, a CD works good, Mike. If you take a CD and tie it to the window, my mom has to do that because she gets birds banging in the windows, and Maureen does it. She buys these little star things, and she'll hang them in the windows because we got bazillion birds out here, you know, it's like a sanctuary. But that's a CD hanging in a window will stop birds from coming against the window.
Really? It's not. No, the birds aren't running into the window. They get to the bottom. I got this gigantic window in my dining room next to the kitchen, and I look.
What room is it, Mike?
So these birds get at the bottom of the window, and they look at themselves, and they peck at themselves. And they're like really mad that there's this other studly rabbit or cardinal. And you know, these are always males that are doing this, territorial, I guess. And they're just mad that they see something that looks as bad as they are.
Nothing like the sound of small arms fire at the crack of dawn.
How do you know? My God almighty. Mike, how do you know it's a studly robin?
It's a studly robin, man. And I'm going to take a picture of this thing. If I started shooting at this, Dave, I'd probably blow my window out by mistake.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to blow the window. I had a perfect shot. I snuck around, and the thing, I moved my arm, and I could have pointed. If I had my little handgun, my 22 Ruger with bird shot in it, I would have blew that sucker right off of that eave gutter.
Mike, you haven't tried to blow your window out for at least a couple months, right?
Oh yeah, you remember that? I was using Mike's 22 propelled dog training thing that I used to launch over trees, to launch my wire over the trees. And so I blew this thing off. I blew this thing off in the house just to see what would happen. downstairs in my laundry room, and I just missed my my window and by literally inches. I couldn't believe the kick this thing had and how much power it had.
Mike, are you a gagoots?
Cagoots. You know what? I use that word all the time with my kids when they were growing up. Yeah, little cagoots.
Hey, Randy, you missed it the other night. They were having a Trump off. It was like the best radio that's been on in a long time.
Oh, who was battling?
Oh, it was Mike and Dave. It was it was really good. I'm sorry that you missed that.
Yeah, but it wasn't a battle, Randy.
Oh, it was who could do the Trump the best.
I was talking to Nancy, you know, I've been watching her lately, and she's just not right anymore.
We had a Trump off, and Dave lost. Trust me.
I think she's crazy now. I call her Crazy Nancy.
Hey, did you see Trump watch that sumo match?
Yeah.
He lifted up this 60-pound trophy that was like 4 foot tall. He lifted it right up and presented it. I tell you what, this guy had a blast in Japan. It looks like his whole team did.
Yeah. No, they said 60 this morning. By this afternoon, they were saying it was 70 pounds.
That was the presidential test. Cape 2's MVP. Be back in a flash.
And what is CG?
W2MUR.
KC1RS.
WG2E.
W2KRY. David Adam, Henry Adam.
There's Dick up there near Beantown. How you doing, Dick?
Doing better. Yeah, we got that nasty thing called cellulitis, and I'm going to go see the doctor again. Just make sure that it's going to be torn. And my leg, you know.
W2MUR from Norway.
Stand by 1 second.
Make sure that it's going to be all right. I don't want no poison in my leg. No way.
Did I hear Walt in there?
How are you guys doing?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Dick. Stand by a second. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm sorry, Dick. You're kind of in the noise, and Walt from Michigan was trying to get in. Go ahead, Walt.
Yeah, I'm trying to say good evening, guys. Let you know what's in Michigan this evening. Noise level is not atrocious like it usually is. Happy campers on my end, over.
Very good, Walt. 10 over here, and good signal. And happy Memorial Day to you, or weekend. Thank you for your service. Did you serve in the military?
Yes, I did in the Vietnam era in 1969.
Well, thank you for your service. I remember a few years ago, Walt, I was up in Robbinsville, New Jersey, and my wife at the time, I told her, I said, you know, I should go out and play the taps for Memorial Day, and I was just kind of half kidding. And she said, you should do it. Go out there and play the taps. And now, you know, I'll play the trumpet. I used to do the taps when I was in the Air Force as a special, you know, entourage type things for funerals and stuff. And so I went out there and played taps. It was the first time I did that since I was in the military.
I bet it made you feel like $1 million, and you'd probably do it again, right?
Say again?
I said it probably made you feel like $1 million, and you probably would volunteer to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as good as I used to be, but I'm still good enough to play the taps. Yeah, I mean, I could probably do it again, but I just felt inspired. That was back in 2012 I did it. But we used to go out on these on these bus trips in the middle of nowhere, and we'd have a couple guys playing taps. You know, I'd play close and he'd play far, or we'd switch. And this one funeral, this lady got so emotional she jumped in the grave, and her and her mother and everybody's jumping in the grave. It was just a total pandemonium.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd probably like to try and use.
I couldn't believe my eyes. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. was down in North Carolina in the middle of nowhere. W2MUR. I'll be back. I'm going to get some tea. I shall return.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
I was on the highway today and yesterday, Friday and today, about 5 or 6 hours. And out of those 5 or 6 hours, we had 3 hours at least with almost no cell phone coverage. So therefore, that means, and all the while I was down there in East Bejesus, that means I could not have used the radio hadn't I had my wonderful, beautiful, and amazing high-Q antenna. So there's still a lot of areas that you can't do the remoting from.
You're absolutely right. I mean, there's some dead spots in when I used to work in Canada for that car company that I worked for. I used to go up 87, and there was at least 2 hours of no cell coverage going up 87, and that's when I just was running barefoot with a 20-meter ham stick, and I was talking all over the place on that. That was with the Kenwood 480 before I even knew you guys. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the one reason why you got to have a decent mobile operating system.
I was on 40 meters today checking into the net and talking to different people about, so all over the place, just on different frequencies on 40 meters. And I had so many compliments on how strong the signal was. Jeff in the net down there actually stopped the net and had people give me signal reports because he goes, Randy, you're 15 to 20 over S9 here in New Jersey. And his base stations aren't even close to being as strong as you. He said, so I'd like everybody that to just give Randy signal reports because let him know how strong he is. There's guys that are getting signal reports that are S9. There's mobiles that are 5.5, 5.7, and then I come rolling in there at 20 over S9. And it happens all the time. And it's nothing I'm doing. It's not. I didn't build the antenna. It's a sensational antenna. So I don't know. I thought about going the easy route, but there's something about it. And you, Mike, out of everybody here, what it's like having that antenna and down that thing in and breaking into a frequency or breaking a pile up with your mobile antenna. Where I was on 40 and the guy was giving me hell because I was bothering him 3 kcs down. I was so strong, so I don't know. I think that you should really consider hard spending a lot of money on getting a remote station set up.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I think remote capability has always been the plan B. So say if you do have an issue like I'm in right now, I mean, it would be nice to have remote, but that wouldn't be my primary. I mean, let's face it. I mean, like you just said, it's just there's a whole other dimension of using a mobile. I think even Bruce mentioned it. Bruce was saying, look, you go remote, it just takes all the joy out of, or not the joy, but it takes all the technicalities out of the running your radio, and also you don't have the you don't have the capability, like you just said, and it's just it's cool to drive around with a thing, and not have this 20-foot whip, and everyone looks at this thing, and it's just I've talked to so many people, you talk to so many people about this thing, it's just amazing.
Well, Bruce told me that if I went with a remote system, that he would just get out of ham radio, and I couldn't have that on my conscience. But I'll tell you, there is something about having a good signal out of your mobile, and even down onto 160. When people hear that you're a 160 mobile, it blows their mind because it just is not that easy to do. But it's not just strapping an antenna to the truck. On 160, there's a lot more to do than just putting on. I mean, I've got over 100 hours of time on this thing, and I've got another 20 hours to do now because I've got to do it all over again, and sand and scrape and repaint and new holes and all that. So it's a real major pain in the tuchus. But you know what? There's something very satisfying about that. And that goes back to what I started out with earlier about the guy that wants the QSL card because he read my name on the on some DX poster or whatever the post was. You know, so either you be a ham and do it the way hams do it, or not. I guess remoting is ways hams have discovered and how to make it work. That's great if you're in a hotel room, but I mean, come on, if you're traveling down a highway, let your system work. I mean, maybe I'm a folky. I don't know.
No, absolutely not. I've got all my straps ready. I just got to get it up on a lift and pop them in, and then we got to do some welding. So,
Mike, lift. Come on, Mike. The real hams do it from their ground when the ants are crawling in their ears, drilling holes, steel dropping into their eyes.
No, those are called handicap hams.
Listen, if you can put an antenna on your truck, you put the whole system in your truck, and you haven't had to go to the emergency room one time, you had to have taken a shortcut.
So as I get older, I got to work smarter.
I hear you. From what I understand, through the miracle of text messaging, we may have a new mobile station coming on the air.
Oh, really? Who?
Randall, anything you'd like to say?
I'm sorry, I was reading something else. Go ahead.
That's all the information I can give you, Mike.
Oh, my gosh. And this is real classified stuff.
What was the question?
I said, from the miracle of text messages, I understand that we may have a new ham on the air. Well, a new mobile ham on the air sometime soon.
Oh, yeah. No. I got the license plate, and then I drug all the A57 up there, threw it on a bench, and got an antenna, and then I got an antenna mount, and then I got the cable, and I looked at the truck, and I went back and looked at the bench, and then I looked at the truck again, and then I just put it in the bag and went and had a beer.
Mike, he's got a Chevy.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's sad. Very sad. Hey, listen, so what kind of, what were you kind of vacillating back and forth on? What were you, it wasn't a high Q, right?
No, I think I'm just going to get a coat hanger and a magnet so people think I'm a real ham.
Now, those are easy enough to make out of clay, ceramic.
Ceramic doesn't hold up well to pumps and high speeds. But, hey, you think there's a lot of people listening right now?
Is there anybody listening right now?
I'm not listening.
I am.
Coast is clear.
All right. Some of you may or may not know from my website, one of my closest and dearest mentors, my cousin down in St. Augustine, my first Elmer, is moving out of his house, and it's a very, very fine house right next to the Matanzas National Forest. He spent, I think it was 40 plus years in the U.S. government with FEMA and Emergency Communications and the CDC, and he was the grandfather of the ALE concept. So he's moving out of his house, and it's set up with a tower and right now I think there's a T11 log periodic on top of it, 40 or 50 feet. Really nice little ham room shack in the back, pool, 3-bedroom. Anybody that's interested, I'm good on QRZ, W2KRY, Whiskey 2 Kilo Romeo Yankee, selling real estate, ham house down in St. Augustine, Florida. Thank you.
I'll check it out.
How far? That's a long drive, honey, to work every day.
That's not close enough to my mom.
That falls in with my 3-pronged strategy on for lighting, working in upstate New York, and all my customers in South Jersey, and then in Florida, and then 3 months off.
You know, Mike, we should partner in that because I'm about ready. I'm in a 2-year plan, so a couple of years I'll be retired, and then I can go down to some of the hard jobs and take that off your plate.
Doing the ship to shore. He's got 3 full sets for 3 different frequencies, and the antennas are up in the palm trees. So there's a chance that you could get in with the same kind of a deal with maybe the same company or a different company. So, look, I already paid for half of your rent.
Yeah, there's so much work down in the Florida area, but I mean, Randy, I would love to do something and just, have somebody I can trust. Just kind of, you would love this stuff. It's so therapeutic. Just so therapeutic. And I don't do a lot of the labor as much anymore. Smaller stuff I'll do just to do it. But it's just, it's great being outside. There's some rough days, and cold days and whatever, but, it's just, I love the lighting.
Everybody, Mike has seen the light.
Mike the light.
Where's good Mike?
Yeah, where is he?
I thought we were just listening to good. Oh, good Mike. We were listening to good Randy.
Well, you got good Randy in there and bad Mike.
And good Randy's got the place on his webpage in Florida, all set up for ham radio.
Didn't you just sell your place in Florida, Dave?
Yeah, but that was over West Palm, just up the street from Mar-a-Lago. I used to go down there and have lunch with the president.
But isn't real estate way down now?
No, it came back up. That's why they sold it. It was down about 6 or 8 years. When Obama was in, it was down. As soon as Trump got in, the values all came back up.
What are you talking about? Obama saved the world.
Yeah, he saved the world, all right.
Dave, where in West Palm were you? Were you down by South County Road at all, or?
We were in Jupiter at Johnson's Landing.
Oh, that's nice. It's all nice in there. Yeah, we stayed at Sanger Island, and I could jump in the water and go watch it. I could jump in the water, swim 200, not even 150 yards across this channel, get up and walk down the beach, and Rush Limbaugh's place is like a quarter mile down the beach. I found out about this on Google. I couldn't believe how close it was to where we would stay on Sanger Island.
I was just asking Maureen about what it cost to go back and forth to Florida when we went down a couple months ago, or last month, whenever it was, a couple $100. And, you think about it, if I've got to go down right now, if I'm low on fuel, and if I'm empty and I've got to buy gas, spend, $50, $60 to drive 2.5 hours, okay? And I can go to Florida for about $125 just to go one way. It's not. I mean, are you kidding me? You know how cheap that is?
Yeah, airfare went back up now. Airfare's up now.
Drive it down. You get on an airplane, come back.
Mike, I can drive 2.5 hours or fly 2.5 hours. Fly 2.5 hours, I can go to Florida. Driving 2.5 hours, I can get a little bit past Albany, and it costs me $50 or $60, and I could be round trip $30. Well, it's more expensive to fly 2.5 hours for sure, but you know what? It's still very reasonable to fly 2.5 hours.
Well, if you're talking about Florida, yes. Florida, you can get into Daytona Beach, you can get into Orlando. There's 2 different places in Orlando. You can Sanford and Orlando. I mean, there's a million places you can get in cheap, like less than $300 round trip,
So what is this, Mike? The sit back in your chair and that?
What's this?
What is this? The sit back in your chair and let the acoustics of the room take over and that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I that obvious?
No, couldn't tell at all.
I thought you were talking in the back of your mic.
I had my hands behind my head, and I was leaning back in my chair, and I didn't put the mic up close to my mouth.
Well, you might as well go ahead and remote that if you're going to be that lazy.
That's what I thought he was doing.
You're making some Belgian waffles or crepes or something.
Yeah.
Crap.
He was making crepes.
Sumo trophy away. Get it out of the way of the microphone.
That's right. I got a 50-foot cord on this mic. I pull it around with me while I'm cooking.
Well, just keep it close to you. That's all. We don't care what you're doing when you're on the radio, but keep it close.
All right, I'll be back. I gotta get some tea here. W2MUR.
Okay, KB2 ZVP near the top.
Hey, I'm going to duck out of here, fellas. I think I'm going to go upstairs and eat some wheat. WG2E.
You're gonna have bad gas.
Double gluten wheat. Make it double gluten.
Okay, yeah, I'll get some on the side.
You know, we haven't been eating any wheat at all. You guys all know this, and I've been feeling pretty darn good. And we had, of course, when you go to the festival, they don't have gluten-free, hot sausage sandwiches, right? So we had hot sausage sandwiches and some French fries and greasy food. And I'll tell you something, the next day, it's like, holy hell, do you feel, you know what you've been doing. Hello, Dick. All good in the Toad Harbor hood, buddy.
Oh, the Toad Harbor is the number one net.
The number one net of all nets anywhere in the world.
Yes, sir. Boy, when they're talking about it all over the place, that's good.
Well, so a lot of times I'll hear about bad things, get my chops busted about the Toad Harbor net. But today it was all good stuff. It was pretty nice to hear good things.
I heard you say that on, you were listening to you worked the guy on 40 and they talked about it. Boy, that's all right. Very good. Hey, you guys have a good night. I gotta go upstairs again, all right? 7-3, you know?
Okay, how's the missus feeling? She okay?
Yeah, the missus is still, she's on the same medicine I am on. Wow. She's got a different problem, but she's on the same medicine.
Okay, well, take care of each other. Take care of each other. That's the most important thing. Good night, Dick. 73.
Okay, 7-3. Yeah, we got 53 in together. We got to stay together. 7-3.
Well, God bless you. 53 years. That's wonderful. Good night, 73.
Good night, 7-3.
What's that, Walt?
Just wanted to, I didn't have anything. Wanted to let you know I was going through the frequency for this cat.
Okay, have a good night, Walt. 73, good night.
Take care, God bless. Easy. Cheers,
Yeah, well, Dick, 73's Happy Memorial Day. Everyone SAG. Yeah, and our veterans going along with that. 7-3.
Dave, were you in the service?
Yeah, I was in Ginger Baker's Air Force.
Ginger Baker?
Hey, Randy, it's Bo Peep.
Hey, Bo Peep.
How's it going?
All good in the Toad Harbor hood. Sister, how you doing?
Good. Were you guys talking about Ginger Baker?
Yeah, I was in Ginger Baker's Air Force.
You were. I love Ginger Baker.
I know. You only made that one album.
Right. I love all the Cream stuff, and I think there are 3 documentaries about him. Are you in any of them?
I'm only kidding. I wasn't it. Nobody's ever heard of Ginger Baker's. Did you ever see the one album that he made? It was called Ginger Baker's Air Force. His band, after he left Cream for a while, he went on his own and made that one album. There was a picture of him on the front of the album cover with an old, like, World War II airplane leather helmet on with the earphones over.
Yeah, I know that album cover.
Yeah, no, one time I feel bad about it now because the guy, he left us in a bad way, but he was a Marine. He had lost his leg in Vietnam, and we were all down guy's garage talking, and they were talking about their military service, and this old Marine looked at me and he says, "Were you in the service?" And I says, "I was in Ginger Baker's Air Force," just kidding around, thinking maybe he heard of it, you know. Oh, he says, "You guys bailed me out so many times," and after that I kind of felt bad about it. I'm feeling worse now because he's gone.
Aw, you didn't know.
Uncle Albert, he was a crazy man, I'll tell you. He had a few drinks in him. He was finger painting on the hood of his pickup truck one day.
You ever see Cream play live?
No. I went to 2 Jimi Hendrix concerts, though, and one, Emerson, Lake and Palmer concert live.
Hey, I saw Hendrix and I saw Cream live way back when.
At the Bushnell?
No, it was in Providence at the old arena up there where they used to have the Rhode Island Red hockey team play.
Oh, right, yeah, Hendrix made the rounds, and but I never saw Cream. My buddy went to a couple Cream concerts. I'm not sure where, but yeah, I saw Hendrix both times at the Bushnell Theater in Hartford, and also Emerson, Lake and Palmer there as well.
I might have seen that too. It might have been Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I don't know. Can't remember. It was a long time ago, but I have a picture of the Hendrix concert somewhere in my collection of old 35mm black and white shots. That was kind of cool. I have that image. I scanned it in. It's somewhere in the silly phone realm. If you want to see it, I'll send it to you.
I'd like to see it. Well, send it to Randy. Now, Bruce, when you saw Hendrix, did you see him on the Electric Ladyland tour?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember which album had been released, but it was pretty interesting. Loud, very loud, too loud. But and the acoustics weren't that great. They never had great sound systems back then like they do today, or like they did 10 years after that.
Right. Well, the first time I saw him, it was right after his second big album, which was Axis Bold as Love album. And, or actually, I think, it must have been at this, it's hard to say, but I know, because the first time I saw him in Hartford, it was a Dick Robinson production. A second, and it wasn't that high. He didn't seem that enthusiastic. He was like tired, and he just like got off the stage at the end, and that was it. It was kind of a short thing. But the second one he did was his own Jimi Hendrix Electric Ladyland production. And at the end of the concert, he smashed up a guitar, lit it on fire with lighter fluid and everything.
Yeah. I don't know whether he wasted a perfectly good guitar, to quote, what's his name? But I found the picture. It is in my silly phone. So, Randy, I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of guitars he was using. Like some of those old Fender SGs and stuff were only about $50 back then. But something tells me he was probably lighting up a Telecaster or something.
No, it was a Stratocaster. Now, when he finished, when he played that, and it was Voodoo Child's Slight Return, he gave a stagehand his regular guitar that he was playing all night long, and they gave him a white guitar, another Stratocaster. So, he just beat the thing to death, busted it all up, feedback, lighter fluid, a match, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, those Strats are selling for outrageous money now.
Yeah, my buddy's got a U.S.-made Strat. It's a left-hander too. He's left-handed, and I don't think he plays it anymore. But it's a beautiful guitar. I had a beautiful jazz bass Sunburst a long time ago, U.S. made. Now I sold it for $250. Now they're going for about $2,500.
Yeah, well, I hate to tell you, I have a '69 Strat, but in high school, I did some horrendous things to it. I stripped the Sunburst finish off it, then I tore it apart and stereo wired it and put a telly pickup in the middle of it, and I carved out a couple of things in the body to make some of the jacks on it. So it's all, it's been devalued, but if that thing, if I'd left it alone, I could have I could have paid for a year's tuition for one of the grandkids to go to college with it.
Yeah, my cousin did the same thing. He had a Strat. It was a 1960s. Oh, and another fella that was in a band with had a beautiful Jazzmaster Sunburst. I don't know whatever happened to that, but they're kind of rare now too. But my cousin did the same thing to his Strat. It was a beautiful Sunburst Strat. He stripped it, and it's last time I saw it was all wood tone. Still sounded good though.
Yeah, they were nice players, but it's Jesus. It's just a chunk of wood, really. With all this heritage to it, but it's weird how the values and how they went.
So, just to let everybody know, to get everybody up to speed here, my wife Maureen has decided that she's going to learn how to play the banjo.
I never played the banjo, but I always wanted to try it.
5-string, Randy?
Maybe 6, 8, I don't know. What the hell?
What do you recommend?
Yeah, what's the difference?
Well, there's 5 and 4. 5-string is more involved with the finger picking and stuff.
Well, let's let her do the 5-string. I mean, if we're going to give her a challenge, let's challenge her.
Absolutely.
What did the goofy-looking guy on that show, Deliverance? Was it Deliverance? Yeah. What did he play?
I don't know. I never had the nerve to watch that movie.
Well, we should watch it together sometime.
Most banjos players are 5-string, although I've seen banjo players with the 4-string banjos, and if I'm not mistaken, the 4-string banjo looks a little smaller to me, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't know if the necks are any shorter. They might be. I think it might be more of a rhythm instrument, but I don't know. I'm not an aficionado on it.
And neither am I.
Well, I've got to find her a southpaw banjo, so I'm in the market. If anybody's through all the thousands upon thousands of people that are listening here, if you've got a southpaw banjo for sale, if they make such a thing, just send me an email. A Kilo Bravo 2 Zulu Victor Papa.
You got a southpaw Strat.
That's the only. Everything else is the same. Yeah. They're good banjos of quite a bit of money, and I think don't they, Bruce, make? My son knows about these things. That he plays all the guitar, stringed instruments and pianos, but don't they make like the double string? Like 8-string and 10-string?
On a banjo?
Yeah, and instead of like like you'd have a 4-string banjo, then you'd have like the ones that are easier would be 8-string because you'd have 2 strings that are together, and another 2 strings that are together, another 2 strings that are together. They pair up the strings.
What the heck's the matter with you?
No, yeah, but those strings are an octave apart usually, right, Bruce?
Yeah, they're tuned to an octave. But I don't know, Mike. I don't think they'd call it a banjo at that point.
Yeah, I thought I saw some like with double strings, for each. Like you said, it was an octave apart.
Well, my buddy, another guy used to play in another band. He had a 12-string Gibson.
Did you bang your head today?
Guitar. And that guitar had really nice sound.
I think Mike bumped his head.
I'll find one on the internet.
Just to show me, huh?
Yeah. Maureen, if you learn how to play the banjo, I think that would be the most amazing thing ever.
I used to play a violin. I wasn't very good at it, but I picked up my uncle's violin one time, started playing on it, and I was amazed at how easy it was.
My daughter-in-law plays the cello.
I can play the trumpet.
I can play trumpet too. We should do it. I bring my trumpet over. Do you have your trumpet still?
No, it's out being cleaned.
My lip is like I got to put ice packs on my lip if I play my trumpet too long these days.
My father had a trumpet, and I come across it one time, and so he always, the whole story is this. I was the most gullible person in the world. My father trained me not to be, and so he said, oh yeah, he says, I used to play the trumpet. He goes, I was really good. He goes, as a matter of fact, they wanted me to play on the Lawrence Welk show, So I go to school, and I'm telling my friends, hey, my dad can play the trumpet. And he was so good, and now I'm on the bus on the ride home. He was so good, they wanted him to play for Lawrence Welk. And my older brother, the a-hole, says, you are so stupid. You really believe that Dad can play the trumpet well enough to play on the Lawrence Welk show? I said, well, Dad said so. He was just pulling your legs. So I used to get picked on all the time because I was so gullible.
I was very much like that as well. And, it's not even being gullible. It's you believe the best in people until they can prove you otherwise.
My wife used to sing with the Lemon Sisters.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, bro.
That boy was playing a 5-string banjo in Deliverance.
Yeah, I never even picked up a banjo, I don't believe. So, it would be, I guess it'd be a kick for me in my old age it would drive my wife crazy, too.
I want to play the piano.
That's a little tougher. I had a real nice Hammond double keyboard organ here. It all had stereo, two tube amps and a common power supply. And I used to go out and try and play that. And there was a few things I could do with it, but I wasn't very good at it. And I imagine if I had lessons and really worked at it, I probably would. Now, I gave the thing away to a guy because it was just taking up room in the garage. I had to make room for the welders to come in. And the guy, we moved it to his house and everything. The thing weighed a ton. It was and he sold it.
Well, I can assure you of one thing. I can play a Miller.
Yeah, well... Oh, and then now that welder's gone. He moved it up to his basement. He's welding an airplane together.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, here's a gold tone 10-string open back banjo with a case for $1,341.
Mike, can I play the piano with my bat finger?
Well, if that's a 10-string, it's probably each string has 2 octaves each. You know what I'm saying?
It depends on how long your finger is after it was bad.
No, you know what a 12-string guitar is, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with a 10-string banjo, I'm thinking.
I don't know. I'm just looking at it. They've got a, this is the Gold Tone makes them. Who else makes them? Epiphone, $599, $1,100. Man, they're expensive.
Yeah, musical instruments went up. My son, my oldest son, collects guitars. He mostly has, he got all different kinds, I guess, but he likes those Gibson Les Pauls.
I'm telling you, unless you are like a gifted individual, the piano or any stringed instrument's pretty hard to learn. I mean, it's not hard to learn. The guitar or banjo is easier to learn than I think even a piano is. But it just takes, some dedication and practice, and some patience too,
Yeah, go ahead, Russ.
Yeah, I was in the service. A buddy of mine was hard up for cash. He had a 60 Salvin El Camino, and he needed to fix something on it. So he needed like $700, and so I lent it to him, and he gave me his 63 Les Paul Sunburst and a little PV amp as collateral, and of course we didn't get paid a whole lot of money back then as airmen, and I had that set up for about a year and a half, and he finally, I figured, well, because he was never making any attempt to pay it off or anything, so I figured I was going to own it forever. And then he surprised me, and he came and he said, hey, I got the money together, and he gave me the $700 he owed me, and I gave him the amp and the guitar back. But I can't believe if he would have never come back on that, I probably would have kept that guitar. That guitar's probably worth about $15,000 today.
Yeah, 63 Les Pauls right up there, I would imagine.
Well, the question is, Russ, did you learn how to play it?
Yeah, I crashed around on it a little bit. I wasn't any good, but and then I had a couple of acoustic guitars, but I just never had the patience to follow through on it. I just never got anywhere with it.
Hey, Russ, are you staying overnight at the summit? You got a hotel room?
No, we hadn't really counted on it. I figured we were just going to drive up there for the day.
That's too bad, because Bruce has made a promise that he's going to play his guitar, at the summit at nighttime.
Oh shit! Did I do that?
You did. You swore up and down.
I must have been drinking or something.
Well, you were drinking, and we won't talk about the time you were up on a table.
Oh my God!
Well, it's going to be a good time at the summit this next time.
I think you were drinking that rum.
Mountain whiskey.
I think Jeff's coming up too. Him and Tracy are coming up. NJ2US.
I'm glad that you're on speaking terms with Bruce, because you should be taking aim at him for the best signal down here, because he's really your competition. Ray, forget it. Bruce has forgotten more about throwing a signal into my antenna here than Ray ever could do on purpose.
Well, you have to understand something. Okay, listen, signal strength and all that stuff is all irrelevant. It's just wherever the band is and all that stuff, we're local, who's close to who and over water and all that stuff. But Russ, you have to understand the dynamic here between Ray and I, okay? Listen, if Bruce is stronger than me, God bless him. I love the guy. And like you said, he knows, 10,000 times more than I'll ever know about it. But it's just me, Ray and I, the dynamic there. You know what I mean? And I don't care if I'm weaker than everybody else, as long as I'm not weaker than Ray.
Signal wars.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to be number one of all time on the Toad Harbor net. You just really only care about one. You just have one opposing force, and that's it.
That's all. I wanted to step on his throat. That's all. It has nothing to do with anything besides that. For the last 30 years, it's always been about, I don't care if I'm stronger than Dave or you or Bruce or BYP or any of the top guys or Dave. I just want to be stronger than Ray.
Or Mike. Come on.
Oh, Mike? Who's Mike? Which Mike? Good Mike? Yeah, Good Mike does a great job.
So I'm on 10 meters today, and it all opened up, and I said, wow, this is amazing. I haven't seen 10 meters open up like this in just 2 years. No, maybe a year even, So the Ray is saying, well, it's all CBers, and I said, no way, these guys are all real amateur radio guys. So he goes, just check and see what kind of antennas they're using. So I checked. I had 10 contacts today. Every one of them had an extra flash, except there was a BE1 up in Fairfax, Canada. These were all legitimate hams, real hams.
What were their antennas?
Well, I mean, most of them did have like the Mosleys, the 20-meter beams, but they had long wire antennas. I was definitely the only one that had a 160 dipole.
No Antron 99s?
Well, the Antron 99 is an antenna that everybody falls back on, right? You can run on 12 meters and 10 meters, 11 meters, but Craig, we used to use 7-element antennas on 10 meters, but I don't get that why he says that, but I guess it's just you have to understand the dynamic of it all. I mean, the thing is, he is the 11-meter guy, and he thinks that all the guys that are on 10 meters are all those same people. But there's a lot of people on 10 meters that are. I mean, I used to be a 10-meter guy, and before I had my general, I was a no-code tech on 10 meters, and I wouldn't go on CB for anything, but I'd be on 10 meters and working up to 500, and I used to have a blast up there.
Okay, so I did find one. I found one. But this guy is Kilo Bravo 1 Kilo Mike Foxtrot up in Maine, and he's an extra. But I'm looking at the biography and it says, yeah, my mobile setup is, he's got a mobile setup. He's using a 124-inch whip, which was a 102-inch CB whip with an old cell phone whip added onto it. Can you imagine what that thing must look like?
Yeah, well, you know what? A lot of hams work on 11 meters, and so what? I mean, I really don't care about that. It's they're on radio, and I'm a radio operator, and I don't, I don't find fault with that,
First guy I go to on 10 meters, I see his QRZ page, and it says, celebrating 50 years of amateur radio operation.
Whatever. I'm not going to worry about, faulting somebody.
I mean, today there had to
I don't
be
want
like,
anybody to look at me that closely, so why should I look at anybody else?
I doubled?
Yeah. Well, you might as well go ahead and try it again because nobody heard you.
I said I couldn't believe it with 10 meters. There had to be 20, 30 people at least that I could see in the spectroscope.
And I said, why would I put anybody else down? Because I don't want anyone to look at me that carefully.
Yeah, I get it.
KC3, KXB.
Where the heck have you been?
I've been here for the last couple hours.
I summoned you to the net, several hours ago.
Well, I tell you, I was in the hot tub earlier with the wife, and then I come down here and being all nice and warm there, and I finally come to.
He was hot tubbing into the future.
Yeah. I heard about a banjo. Maureen still wants her hot tub before she wants her banjo.
Yeah, I'm sure. How cool would that be if she was playing her banjo in the hot tub?
Now you got something. Just long as that not an electric banjo.
I could probably sell videos.
Yeah, there you go.
So, is there any chance we can get you to come on the 15th?
Nah, I don't know what the old lady has for us to do, but I know I know why I won't make it.
No, it's too bad. It would be wonderful, so wonderful to have you there.
I'd love to be there.
Yeah, we would like you to be there. It'd be cool. It's going to be a good time.
Just listening to you, it sounds like it.
And Mike's not going to be there.
Mark on the way, and you guys could make a nice trip of it.
I know. I wouldn't be able to do a runoff with you on the high Q because I don't have one on my truck.
Michael, seriously, are you not going to go to the summit? I mean, how can that even be possible?
Because I've got the Father's Day events brewing with my precious family. And I don't get together with them that often, believe it or not.
Well, how often do you get together with the world-famous Toad Harbor Net?
Not as well. Let's see. I did the last year. I did 2 breakfasts, plural, and Daytona last year with a Good Mike, and I guess that would count too.
You went to Daytona?
I went to Daytona last year with Good Mike, and I saw some Toad Harbians there.
I'm thinking that maybe you went to Dayton.
Daytona. Yeah, I went to the Daytona 500.
Did you see the Indy 500 today?
I want to know what's in his tea. I watched some of the Indy 500. I did today.
What's in the tea?
I missed the whole race, but I watched it all morning. They had Mario Andretti with his almost his life story, you know. But then when about the time the race came on, my wife had chores for me to do. We had to run down and get umbrellas, clean the lawn. Oh, maybe it was owl out in the hot sun too. All right, I got to go to bed. N1SAG 73s, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm like mixing my words up here. I've been up since 5:30 in the morning, which is just nonstop, no naps.
I haven't had a nap since kindergarten, Mike.
I don't, my dad, I don't take naps. I don't take naps either, and you know why? Because my dad takes so many naps, and I said, I'm going to sleep my life away. I don't care what it takes. I just keep pushing, do something. Like I was wanting to close my eyes tonight, and so I got on the air and said, let me just get on the air. I'm just so tired of seeing my dad. That was one thing he modeled. Of course, he's living a long life, right? But I just can't see sleeping all day.
WB3DYE.
Hello, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hello to the Toad Harbor Net. You were right. 10 meters was famous.
Hey, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Not to be petty, okay? Not to be petty whatsoever. And personally, you know me, that I would never be petty, but it's the world famous Toad Harbor Net, if you don't mind.
Okay. I stand corrected.
I mean, of all the people here, you know how important pomp and circumstance is.
Well, accuracy is important too.
You being a newsman, you know that.
But are they listening in China? That's what I want to know. China.
My son been to China several times on business. Nice place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there.
Why not?
They literally have to truck in
bottled water for them to drink. You drink the water and you get sick. You can't drill a well? Well, I don't know. I don't know the geology or whatever. Then this company has decided to buy all this water for them.
That's true. You can't, it's not all on the East Coast. In some of the interior parts of China, you can dig wells, but yeah, the water is not good.
And the living conditions, people who are on the lower scale, as far as income is concerned, they have to do their bodily functions in their house. And I mean in their house. Why can't they, I mean, do they not have septic systems and all that? According to my son, some of them don't.
Yeah, in the country they don't. They use these 50-gallon things of water, like rainwater, and they have a toilet. But in the toilet they have a box underneath, kind of like an outhouse, only it's a glorified outhouse. Philippines were the same way. That's why you never shake hands with somebody with the right hand. Just. But in the cities, they had the septic systems were fine. I mean, at least they were working, functional.
Where is this, China? Where in the country you go, and surprisingly, I thought the Chinese had everything locked down. I was able to text my son and at one point call on his cell phone.
Technology-wise, they're doing really well, and the roads are, a lot of roads, the big percentage of roads are all cement. All their main highways. And, a lot of their houses, to your point of the people that are lower income, a lot of the houses there are made out of block, cement block, believe it or not, Randy, but they don't have any windows in them.
Well, hold on a second. What are you saying? Low income housing is concrete blocks?
Yeah, I mean, in the country, I noticed when I was traveling around, concrete was, Shanghai and surrounding cities went through so much concrete in the decade from 2000, to 1998 to like 2010, and they're still using so much concrete, building, but there must have been so much concrete that even in the country, I'd see these poor people in the middle of the country, but they'd have a cement driveway, and they would have these block houses, but no windows in them.
Well, they didn't want to get shot through the window.
Yeah, I guess, but, it had to be kind of cold winter.
Windows lose heat, not gain it.
So you think if they were going to block up the house, they would make the whole thing out of block, and they wouldn't put any openings in for a window. Maybe they wanted to have windows someday. I don't know, but I saw lots and lots of houses like that, and I always scratched my head and could never understand that.
Have you guys ever been to Jamaica or Mexico?
Mexico, yes. Jamaica, never.
Well, Mexico, New York. Well, we were on a cruise, and I wanted, we took this tour, which had to go through the poorest place in Mexico. And these are people literally living in tin shacks. And at the end of the tour, I told my kids, you don't remember this. You don't realize how good you have it. And we were leaving to get back on the ship. And there was this little kid there, had to be 6 or 7 years old, selling pencils. I almost lost it.
You're absolutely right about that. I mean, my ex-wife and I went to the Philippines in early mid-90s. We had to do our will for the first time, and we went out without the kids. Her mom and dad were over there, and that was the only time I ever came back to the U.S. and kissed the ground when I got back, when we flew in, to Syracuse, got off the airplane and kissed the ground. I just see the roads are just horrendous. I mean, it was just, all the roads were horrible, just even in Manila, There was only one Marcos, whatever his first name was, highway, and it was only 2-lane. And you go up to Baguio, which was like the big vacation spot. You'd have these horrible cliffs, muddy roads, and people just go off these cliffs, no guardrails, no wildlife because everybody would eat everything that moved. Fishing was non-existent until 3 miles off the coast. It's just the most under-resourced, country I've ever seen, And Mount Pinatubo went off, and it just destroyed, the country for that period. And they kicked out all of our military bases because they just did. Subic Bay and Clark Air Force Base and all the all the bases. They got rid of them, and then those bases turned into horrible towns, and it was just a disaster over there. I don't know if I told you guys this. My oldest grandson's in the Air Force, and they sent him to school for 2 years to learn Arabic. So you can probably guess what he does for the Air Force. Anyway, I asked him one day, what kind of equipment do they run? And he said, Grandpa, I can't talk to you about that. But I will tell you, our setup makes your ham shack look like a wind-up toy. I can believe it. I mean, I can believe it. I was in late 70s, and I got out in the 80s. And I remember when we used to code our IFF, they called Identification Friend or Foe, encoders that would encode all of our communication. We did it with a 128-pin encoder key. It was a mechanical coder key, and we'd have to change the code every day. And that was mechanically, and there was no way to hack it. Absolutely no way to hack that. Today, I can't even imagine. I mean, just how they even encode things today. Yeah, he goes to work and comes home at 3, and he spends all day in this secure room. He has lots of stuff going on. I remember my dad worked at General Electric Aerospace. He would be up on the 5th floor working on the Reagan Star Wars stuff and some laser stuff. I went up there one time. It was pretty cool. He was like a really great technician that engineers always loved to work with him because he could always prototype things. He was a builder, Randy, and did electronics, but he was never an engineer. But they always called on him because he did such a great job prototyping things according to the specs, And so he ended up in all these weird places. But it was a shame, actually, seeing General Electric Aerospace being sold to Lockheed Martin and leaving Utica, New York. I got out of there just in time. I left there in 87. General Electric Aerospace left in 89. And I spent the next 32 years in South Jersey, Philadelphia. W2MUR on the 20. WB3DYE. Well, I'm going to jump off here, gentlemen, and I want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. Bob, good talking to you, and Tom out there. and Randy, good Randy, and bad Randy, and everybody else. 73s, everybody. Have a great day tomorrow. Randy, I'll give you a call if I'm going to come over. W2MUR. Take care.
Good night, Mike. Rest easy now.
63 KXP.
73, Mike, from the Poconos.
WB3DYE.
Good night, guys.
73's, Mike. Randy, Tom, Roy, everybody. I'm gonna bust out of here myself. Getting a little tired. Dave, if you're in there too. Bruce. Have a good evening. I'll catch you guys in here tomorrow. Maybe in the morning, Randy, if you're gonna get up early. KC1RS.
Good night now. 73.
Man, these static crashes, 20/9.
So, I guess you guys, some of the guys took off. KV2's at VP.
I've got 20/9 static crashes. You're 30 over.
Well, I'm running the biggie up. I don't have it. I've got a bunch of attenuation on here, so it's pretty. My AGC is on slow. My attenuation's on 21, and my static crashes are well handled.
Radio you're running?
It's an ICOM 7851.
Oh, is that the $14,000 icon?
Yeah, it is. Isn't that something?
Wow, I'm sure you've had other radios. Is it worth $14,000?
Well, I paid $12 for it, and it's, Bob, I've had a lot of really good rigs, and nothing that compares to this.
I take it you haven't had any problems like the 7610.
No, knock on wood, not a single issue.
Yeah, I've got to send this back because of the screen problem. I talked to an ICOM tech. He suggested I wait until the new screens come in, because if they just replace the screen, they've seen instances where the problem doesn't reappear, but they've also seen instances where the problem is, creeps back in.
Yeah, they've got a new company making screens, and the old company, you don't know what you're going to get, right? So I think they've been changing screens just to keep people happy.
Well, he even said if your radio is out of warranty, they realize it's their problem and they'll fix it.
Yeah. They said that they're going to warranty screens even after the warranty's up.
Yeah, I think my warranty is up in November, but just the thought of not having a radio to yak on for some undetermined period of time. I'm going to send it to, there's an ICOM service center, and it almost sounds like a one-man band in Michigan. The guy's name is Matt, and I've read some reviews about this guy. He's, he knows what he's doing, and he tries to turn the radio around as fast as possible.
Matt's a personal friend of the Toad Harbor Net, and he definitely knows what he's doing, and he will definitely turn it around, especially if you mention the Toad Harbor Net. So, and I'm not joking around. You have to do that. Matt's a great guy. Really a truly great guy. Great friend of him.
Yeah, I asked him, does he get on? And apparently, with whatever his work schedule is, the radio is few and far between.
Yeah, he's still a great guy, and he still does a great job. So you won't have any issues sending it to him, and just make mention that you're a friend of Randy at the Toad Harbor Net, and he'll definitely take care of you.
Well, I think I'm going to wait. And he says that ICOM, when the new screens are available, will make an announcement, I'm assuming through their website. And because why ship it, get a replacement screen, and have the problem reappear?
I agree.
I've gone round and round with Ray Novak on emails, and I told him it's clear that ICOM did not properly beta test these things.
Well, there's no doubt about that. What did Ray say?
They're not just sold here in the States, they're sold all over the planet. And he says it's not, he didn't say it's not that big of a problem, but, if you're under warranty, if you want to get it fixed, send it in.
Yeah, it's not that big of a problem. He's so full of crap, he pisses me off. You know what? I'm going to blast him on an open forum because he's so full of crap. It's not it's not that big of a problem. That's the problem with ICOM right there. He won't say it really is that big of a problem. We have 10 radios on this Toad Harbor Net. Well, yours is, you count you as 11, and out of 10, 8 of them have a problem. So you're going to tell me that that's not a problem?
I've got an email here from him. You want to hear it?
I've read it. I think you sent it to me.
Okay, that's possible. I don't remember. As we do not have a final solution to the cause of the random failure, the engineering staff is working with the display vendor for a final resolution.
Well, that's an old email because the display vendor has gone out of business, and now they've got a new one that they're working with.
I don't know how true this is, but in one of the email reflectors, somebody said the vendor and ICOM Engineering is putting the new screens through its paces.
Yeah, they're going through cycle life testing and all that stuff, but whatever. I just wish they would just come out and say, look, we've got a problem with the radio, and we are going to warranty it, in up to a couple of years and whatever.
See, I think ICOM has, what they should do is recall all the radios, fix them, and pay postage both ways. That would go a long way to fixing their image.
I agree with you, Bob, very much.
what I started to say, I think ICOM has gone through a transition. Back in 2006, I still have it, an ICOM 706 MK2G. And on HF, it would fold back on itself. It was acting like there was a huge SWR problem. I sent it to the factory twice. They couldn't duplicate the problem. Finally, on the third attempt, I recorded it on video, what it was doing. It was even folding back into a dummy load. Sent the radio with the DVD. They sent it back. It was out of warranty. They didn't charge me a dime. Replaced the whole RF section. And, that went a long way. That's good customer service.
Way back in the day, I had an 821H that it went back 3 times, and they finally sent me a new rig, a brand new rig, and I sold it before I even took it out of the box. So I'm okay with ICOM, but I just wish they would say that they've got a problem and this is what we're going to do to fix it, because the other radios don't have near the problems that ICOM's having with their display.
Yet the 7300 is almost trouble-free.
They had at one point sold 31,000 7300s and not had a single warranty issue.
I think people, including me, I gave them a year to get the bugs out. I waited a full year before buying this. And I think a lot of people thought, well, the 7300, they knocked that all out of the ballpark. That the 7610 would be at least as good.
Yeah, they made a mistake, but whatever. I'm not here to beat up on ICOM or anybody else, but I just wish they would handle the problem that they have. Everybody has a problem. Every company has a problem, and I just wish they would have handled it a little bit differently. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here, Bob. 73. Good night, and I'll see you later. Best 73. Kilo Bravo 2 Zulu Victor Papa.
Good night, Randy. KC3 KXP.
Good night, Thomas.
Good night, Randy. Enjoy your Memorial Day.
You too, buddy. 73. KB2 ZVP clear.
Anybody else in here? WB3D1E.